Let's get over to Alan Pollock. He is the COO of Candid, and with a tech update. Alan, always fun to have you here. And we get some comments when you're not. People miss that report. So what do you have for us today?
Thanks, David. Funny, I always look for a good dad joke or something funny. And I read the Chrisman report at least 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll miss a day or two. Today, I read it and he had a funny joke in there. He goes, if olive is made from olives, what is baby oil made from? So probably you can consider
that's
one of
that's
those
a total
shower
Crispin
thoughts.
logic joke.
It
That's
is.
funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was good. So he mentioned that and then went right into the news, which is good. But here's
Good
what's
job,
funny.
Crispin.
You see these TV commercials all the time, David, for Smile Direct. You see them advertised online. In general, you think they're pretty popular, right? You think a lot of people want to do the ship to home and mail in model of their teeth and go through the at-home box process, right? Guess what? And this was like one of those things is, wow, I had no idea. They're shutting down. They filed for bankruptcy. They're $900 million in debt. That's a big number.
Whoa.
900 million. So if you were looking to do Smile Direct at home, which seems like nobody is, I didn't read further enough into the story to figure out why, but clearly they're filing for bankruptcy.
I think that's a point. What you have, the point is there's a lot of ideas that seem so good on paper, and you look at those and trying to discern which ones are going to make it and which ones are don't. It's just pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
David, that even moves completely into our industry. I've seen a number of different things that people have that brought to the market or trying to bring to the market, and the user experience and the way to use them just doesn't match the persona of the or of the person. And it's just another tool, but it doesn't fit into that orchestration, which we're going to talk about a little bit further down in my notes here. It just doesn't work. So not every idea, is definitely meant to be. So, David, let's talk about some things going on in the mortgage industry. Yes. I just read today that Lender Toolkit, they have an AI-powered underwriter, and you'll be able to get loans approved in under 2 minutes. Now, you probably heard this before, right? There's another vendor out there. By the way, Lender Toolkit's integrated with Encompass. There's another tool out there that was working to underwrite loans and insure them, right? And I remember my time at LoanLogix, we actually went out to Lloyd's of London and tried to do an insurable product as well. At the end of the day, is it AI that's really being able to replace a human or to do better than the rules that a human would write with the other solution? Is AI truly underwriting the loan? And I've seen 1 or 2 AI solutions. They're getting closer, but from what I've seen out there, nobody has yet been able to truly replace. You can read using AI guidelines. You can read context and adaptive learning and understand how data fits back into that data and underwrite it. But that's processing rules. That's not really underwriting. So I leave you with that. Lender Toolkit, I think they're probably making a nice step forward, and they're probably one of the first or in the first group of innovators, so I look forward to seeing it. But a little food for thought. But if you're interested, check it out, Lender Toolkit. David, you know how I love pricing engines. Not only did I build 2 of them, I also managed one of them. Man, I love the guys over at LoanPass. Some of my friends, I know the trials and tribulations some of them have gone through. What a great company, a lot of great people. They just integrated with a prop tech company called Uplift. And get this, the integration is going to allow lenders to access their products. Those products are home shopping tools. And I'm reading it directly from the notes I took. They announced it just recently. They're going to be able to deliver personalized, efficient, tech-powered solutions. The addition of Smart View listing flyers, quick quotes, and a smart buyer tool that allows lenders to enhance the home buying experience. Thinking of point of impact, that's what I used to call it, Dave. When you have access to an originator that has access to a borrower, you're right there. That's the point of impact. Your technology empowers you to help a home buyer get into the home of their dreams. You're their first point of impact. Here's the deal. This is a point of impact application in my mind. The ability to be smarter, to have more information, to help. When you give someone a price as a loan officer, it doesn't mean that you have the deal yet. So this is something that is extremely important. I think it's great. I know the other pricing engines out there are doing very similar things. So hats off to these guys over at LoanPass. All right, David, talking about prop tech, get this. This is very cool. a long time ago, we talked about not artificial intelligence, but the ability to wear a pair of glasses, right? And Google had them for a bit, and walk into a room and the glasses are able to tell you everything you're seeing. It's like watching a football game and seeing where the line of scrimmage is and where the first down, the line of completion is, all those things, right? Imagine walking into a house and everywhere you walk, it not only tells you different things about the home, but it's instantly pricing mortgage information. And as you talk to it, like you would talk to Siri or Alexa and you said, "Hey Siri, what is the weather?" You would talk to your augmented reality glasses or system. Anyways, the point I'm making is Redfin just released what they call Roomvo. It's AI capabilities, and this is really cool, that lets buyers see what they could in just a few clicks, what the house would look like. Meaning, you could go into the house and look at a room and you can change what it looks like. You can change the furniture, the blinds. You can make it look like your own. And you can do it to all current listings right now. You also can do it to past listings that have sold. So if you're interested in looking at how this AI tech works, now, David, this tech is not brand new. People can download it from the App Store. You can scan a room. Very cool. But the fact that it's being made available is even better. So it's another tool that's out there. I know people like Redfin. They like the way that they do the listings. I'm sure everybody soon enough will have this. But if you're interested and you're consulting with borrowers and you're looking at different ways to be a part of the real estate, the final end of that transaction, and help just get them over the hump, this is a really cool tool. I don't know if they have any API functionality.
Alan, could you repeat the name of that again? Make sure.
Yeah, it's called Roomvo. It's ROMVO. And AI is the end of it. So Roomvo AI, and it's at Redfin right now.
Okay, good. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so before I get to a little topic I wanted to bring up, I do want to bring up our AI feature tool of the week. And this is super cool, David. You go to the Chat GPT store, okay? This is where people have made community GPTs. You now can start plugging into your Chat GPT all kinds of customized GPTs. I'm just going to read off one or two. So the Chat GPT store, it's called featuredgpts.com. And they list, and I don't know who makes the site, but they list the top 1% of useful custom GPTs. I'm just going to read you one or two. This one I think is huge for our industry. It's called, by the way, when I say huge, I mean it's all done for you. You don't have to go do it. You can use it. It's called the LinkedIn Master. So it's LINKD Master. And what they do, this GPT specializes in LinkedIn automatic post scheduling, content refinement, and managing all of your post interactions with image posting capabilities as well. So knowing, especially on the B2B side, but some talk about lenders, right? Advertising to brokers, partners advertising to lenders, and other transactions on LinkedIn. Very cool GPT. Another one, David, is a SQL tool. It's called GA for SQL. You tell it what you want to write a SQL script for, and it'll automatically write it for you, and you just paste it into your SQL tool, and you can pull data. A lot of people are pulling data and analyzing their information. Now, the last one, Excel Analyst GPT.
Okay.
And you can find these in the GPT store, which you can search. Very cool stuff. All right. And David, the last topic I wanted to bring up today, I think we'll talk about it in more detail next week. But the reason I bring it up is so funny. At the beginning of the podcast, we had a pre-show conversation. You were talking about stuffing things in the attic. And you asked us if we do that all the time. And we all said, yes, of course. You can't wait to stick it in a bin and stick it in the way back part of the attic. And every time you need to get something, you rip it apart. And by the time 1 year goes by, you've got a mess of an attic. Anyways, David brought that up. You know what we're doing in our industry, David? We're stuffing things in the attic. We're taking contracts with tech vendors and we're sticking them in the filing cabinet or your digital folder. We're not remembering what the contract minimums are. We don't know when the contract terms end. We don't know what vendors do what. And knowing that in 2024, there will be likely, right? I'm not a forecaster, but there will be likely a change in rates, right? Hopefully we get under 7%. Maybe we'll get back to 6, 5.5. With a seller buy down credit, you can get that lower. The point I'm making is we need to be focusing on enhancing tech. The one thing I can tell everybody that listens to this podcast is every vendor you work with, they're all innovating. The innovation they're giving you today that's not the bookend. They're continuing to reinvest in innovation. They're continuing to find ways to integrate with all the other partners. The tech vendors love integrating together. Here's the problem though. They can't all integrate together just to say we integrate. There's cost and time involved, and there's roadmaps. You have to separate something on your roadmap that you could be focusing on to focus on that integration. So what happens is a lot of vendors will say, hey, we'd love to do that integration, but we're unable to do it without the host or the ability to serve a customer. So here's the thing. We need to be looking at our contracts and our vendors. We need to understand who we're working with and why are we working with them. And I raised my hand, David, in a room, and I bet you 85% of the room will say they're not getting the full ROI out of their tech vendors. And there's a lot of reasons why, and we'll talk about that more next week. We'll also talk about how to really prepare for 24 and what really should you be thinking about when reviewing your tech vendors. So we'll talk about that next week. Appreciate, of course, everybody listening, and you know how to get a hold of me. It is Allen, Allen, at tms-advisors.com. Thank you, David.
Yep, great. Alan, good job. Good report. Appreciate it so much. Alice, as you were listening, and you always diligently take notes. We got a video on here. Anything you want to add to Alan or any comments?
No, I just took the notes on the GPT piece. I know a lot of people are very interested in that and how that is going to be continuing to evolve.
It's really interesting. Well, folks, appreciate you
And
being here
very
today,
fast
Alice.
paced.
Yeah, I appreciate the report, Alan. It's really interesting. BART, which you turned me on to, is one I'm using, Google BART, and I'm using that one extensively. I've got to get back and looking at some of the developments of ChatGPT. It's showing up everywhere, and it is without question the thing that is changing, I think, the landscape of all technology, certainly in our industry. And one of our sponsors, Angel AI, is just smoking it. They're doing so well. 3,000 people are just connecting in on a monthly basis. I'm having dinner tonight with one of the top realtors here in Austin that is signing up for it. It's just extraordinary, the rate of adoption. So the world is changing.
David, I'll quickly blow your mind for a second. You, and I use Microsoft Word religiously, but sometimes it is effective to use Google Docs. If you go into Google Docs and you go up top to extensions and you search their extension store, just search for the word ChatGPT. There's a plugin I think it's called GPT for Sheets, for Docs and Sheets. Anyways, the point I'm making is if you load the GPT extension and then you type something, you put in your credentials for your paid-for OpenAI account, and then you type something, what will happen is it will say, would you like me to add this to Sheets? So let's say you ask to create a letter that you want to send to a business that you'd like to be introduced to, and you're the COO of a company. You can just say insert into Sheets, and completely formatted the correct way, it will automatically stick it right into Google Sheets. And you'll have a perfectly formatted document that you now can edit and modify. And if you want to take it one step further, you can pay for a second type of GPT account, which is very inexpensive, and it gives you access to their API. You plug that API into that same tool that you just downloaded, and you can talk to GPT in the actual document and have it read your content, modify your content. You can talk to it, and it will help assist you write and do what you're doing, and it works for Google Sheets as well. So there you go. Good stuff.
Good stuff, is indeed. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate you. Have a great week. Forward to talking to you a little bit later.